It's 3 a.m., and you're replaying that thing you said in 7th grade, the moment you tripped in front of everyone, the time your voice cracked during a presentation. Psychology says there's a reason your brain won't let these memories die. And once you understand why, you'll realize your embarrassment isn't random, it's strategic. Here's what nobody tells you. While everyone else has forgotten that awkward moment from a decade ago, your brain stored it in high definition. You remember the exact words you said, the faces people made, even what you were wearing. This isn't because you're overthinking. This is your brain running a specific psychological program designed to protect you. But here's the problem. That protection system is now torturing you with memories that no longer matter. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Your brain isn't just remembering these moments, it's actively choosing to replay them. And the reason why will make you rethink every embarrassing memory you've ever had. The first sign. Your brain treats embarrassment like physical danger. 10 years ago, you said something awkward at a party. Everyone laughed. You felt your face burn. And even though no one else remembers, you can still feel that exact sensation of shame. Here's why. Your brain doesn't distinguish between social threats and physical threats. When you experience embarrassment, your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, activates the same way it would if you were facing a predator. Research published in Psychological Science shows that social pain activates the same neural regions as physical pain. Your brain literally experiences embarrassment as a form of injury. And just like your brain remembers touching a hot stove to prevent you from doing it again, it remembers social mistakes to prevent future embarrassment. This is called the negativity bias. Your brain is wired to remember negative experiences more vividly than positive ones. One embarrassing moment outweighs 10 successful interactions in your memory storage. You're not being dramatic. Your brain genuinely believes that social rejection could threaten your survival, because evolutionarily it could. Being excluded from the tribe meant death, so your brain stores every social mistake as critical survival data. Stay with me, because this next part explains why you remember your embarrassing moments, but nobody else does. The second sign. You think everyone remembers, but they don't. You're convinced that everyone from your high school still talks about that time you fell during the assembly. They don't. They've forgotten. But your brain refuses to believe that. This is called the spotlight effect. Research by Thomas Gilovich at Cornell University proves that people vastly overestimate how much others notice and remember their mistakes. In his famous study, students were asked to wear embarrassing t-shirts to class. They estimated that 50% of their classmates would remember. The actual number? Less than 25%. Your brain creates a spotlight around you, making you believe you're the main character in everyone else's story. But here's the harsh truth. Most people are too busy worrying about their own embarrassing moments to remember yours. Everyone else was the audience to your embarrassment, but you were the star. You felt every second. They saw a moment and moved on. Your brain recorded it as a core memory. Their brains filed it under irrelevant and deleted it. The psychological term for this is egocentric bias. You assume your experiences are as significant to others as they are to you. They're not. That mortifying thing you did a decade ago, it's not haunting anyone else, just you. But here's what makes this truly painful, and most people don't want to admit this part. The third sign. You don't just remember, you ruminate. It's not enough that you remember the embarrassing moment. You replay it. You analyze it. You imagine what you should have said instead. You create alternate timelines where you didn't mess up. This is called rumination, and according to research from the University of Michigan, people who ruminate on past social mistakes show increased activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for self-referential thinking. Your brain isn't just passively storing the memory, it's actively rehearsing it. Every time you replay the moment, you strengthen the neural pathway. You're literally training your brain to remember it more vividly. Susan Nolan Hoeksema's research on rumination shows it doesn't lead to solutions, it leads to anxiety and depression. You think you're processing the experience, you're actually deepening the wound. Here's the brutal part. Every time you cringe at an old memory, you're not remembering the original event, you're remembering the last time you remembered it. You've replayed it so many times that the memory has been rewritten, exaggerated, and distorted. The embarrassment you feel now is worse than the embarrassment you felt then, because you've spent years adding layers of shame to it. If that hit you, good, because here's the part that changes everything once you understand it. The fourth sign. You have high self-awareness, and it's working against you. People who remember embarrassing moments from years ago tend to be more self-aware than average. You notice how you come across, you read social cues, you understand subtext. This sounds like a strength, but it creates a psychological trap. Research in Journal of Personality and Social Psychology shows that people with high self-consciousness experience stronger and lasting embarrassment. You don't just feel embarrassed in the moment, you replay it from multiple perspectives: how you felt, how you looked, how others perceived you. Your brain doesn't just store the event, it stores your meta-analysis of the event. You remember being embarrassed about being embarrassed. It's a loop that feeds itself. Lower self-awareness people experience embarrassment and move on. High self-awareness people experience embarrassment and then spend years analyzing why it happened, what it means to them, and how to prevent it. You're not weaker, you're just more attuned to social dynamics, and that attunement comes with a cost. Stay with me, because there's one more sign that will completely change how you see these memories. The fifth sign: if you cringe at old memories, it means you've evolved. Here's something most people miss. The reason you feel embarrassed about things you did years ago is because you're no longer that person. You've grown, your values have changed, your social skills have improved. Cringing at your past self is proof of personal development. If you looked back at your 16-year-old self and felt no embarrassment, it would mean you haven't changed at all. Psychologist Dan McAdams calls this narrative identity. You constantly rewrite your life story based on who you are now. The embarrassment you feel is your current self recognizing that your past self didn't meet your current standards. That's not a flaw, that's growth. The person who said that awkward thing 10 years ago was doing their best with the awareness they had. The person you are now has more tools, more experience, more wisdom. Of course, you'd handle it differently. That's the entire point of living. So what do you actually do about this? Because understanding it doesn't make the memories go away. And this is where most psychology videos fail you. Here's what psychology says actually works. Not theory, not motivation, evidence. Strategy 1. Understand memory reconsolidation. Every time you recall a memory, it becomes unstable. This is called reconsolidation. When you replay an embarrassing moment, you have a small window to rewrite it before your brain stores it again. Instead of cringing and pushing the memory away, pause, acknowledge it happened, then deliberately add new context. I was 16. Everyone says awkward things at 16. The person I am now would handle it differently. Research from New York University shows that reconsolidation therapy can actually weaken traumatic memories. You're not erasing the memory, you're changing your relationship to it. Strategy 2. Practice self-distancing. When an embarrassing memory surfaces, don't replay it from your own eyes. View it from a third-person perspective. Imagine you're watching someone else go through it. Research by Ethan Cross at University of Michigan proves that self-distancing reduces emotional intensity. When you see yourself as a character in a story, rather than the narrator, the shame loses its grip. Ask yourself, if my friend told me they did this 10 years ago, would I judge them? The answer is always no. Apply that same compassion to yourself. Strategy 3. Set a rumination timer. You can't stop embarrassing memories from surfacing, but you can control how long you engage with them. When a cringe memory appears, give yourself exactly 2 minutes to think about it. Set a timer. When it goes off, you're done. This comes from cognitive behavioral therapy. You're training your brain that rumination has a time limit. You acknowledge the memory without letting it hijack your entire day. Studies show that time-limited rumination reduces the frequency of intrusive thoughts over time. Your brain learns that dwelling doesn't serve you.
Strategy 4. Use the "so what" technique. When an embarrassing memory surfaces, follow it to its logical conclusion. I said something awkward in 2015. So what? Did it ruin my life? No. Did anyone bring it up again? No. Am I still dwelling on it? Yes. Why? Because my brain thinks it's protecting me from future embarrassment. Once you trace the thought to its end, you realize there's no actual threat, just a memory your brain refuses to let go of. And that realization weakens its power. Research in acceptance and commitment therapy shows that accepting thoughts without fighting them reduces their emotional charge. The memory exists. Fighting its existence only makes it stronger. Here's what you learned today. Your brain remembers embarrassing moments because it's trying to protect you from future social threats, but that protection has turned into a prison. You're not weak for remembering, you're just highly self-aware in a world that doesn't teach you how to manage that awareness. Remember the 4 strategies. Use the memory reconsolidation to rewrite the emotional charge. Practice self-distancing to view memories objectively. Set rumination timers to limit dwelling time. And use the "so what" technique to trace thoughts to their logical end. And remember this, if you cringe at your past, it means you've grown. Your embarrassment is proof that you're not the same person anymore. Most people will watch this and scroll away, still haunted by memories from middle school. But if you want to actually understand how your mind works and take control of it, subscribe now. Every week, we break down raw psychology truths nobody tells you. Drop a comment. What's an embarrassing moment you still think about? And remember, your brain isn't punishing you. It's just trying to protect you. Teach it that the threat is gone and watch what happens.